Let's step inside. We're entering a place where the rot, well, it clings to everything like a wet shroud. This isn't just a story set in some decaying asylum. No, this is a parable, a sharp critique aimed at the arrogance of the so-called sane.
And right from the start, that's a challenge aimed directly at you. This single line really sets up the whole conflict. This idea that your reason, your logic, can somehow protect you from the chaos it's so desperately trying to wall off. It's telling you that your confidence isn't a strength. It's just a fragile, flammable piece of paper.
And so, Act 1 begins. This is the first step in our downfall. And this part of the story? It's all about you, or at least the protagonist you're meant to see yourself in, and that fatal self-assurance that's about to lead you step by unsuspecting step right into a nightmare.
Take a look at these two ideas. On the one hand, you have the scholar, wrapped in confidence. On the other, the fool, completely unaware. And this is the disconnect we're talking about. You walk through these halls with the outward appearance of a scholar, but inside, your heart is just, well, it's a fool's heart. There's this huge, dangerous gap between how you see yourself and what's really going on. So here it is. This is the foundational belief of the rational mind, isn't it? We believe our eyes are like windows, that what we see is objective reality, a clear, untainted view of the world. We're putting this idea on a pedestal for a very specific reason, only to knock it right off and shatter it completely. See, the whole point here is that your perception isn't a window at all. It's a mirror, and a cracked one at that. It doesn't reflect the world as it is. It just reflects back your own ego, your own biases, and your desperate need to feel superior to the madness you think you're just observing. All right, now let's step into the banquet hall. But I gotta warn you, this is no ordinary meal. It's a grotesque performance, a piece of deceptive theater. And you're not just watching from the audience, you're a willing participant. And your silence is basically applause. You know, the warning signs were practically screaming at you, but you chose to tune them out. The wine you were sipping, it had this coppery taste, a hint of violence you ignored. The so-called masters at the head of the table were eating with this disgusting gluttony, and just out of your line of sight, knives were being sharpened. But you, the rational observer, you just explained it all away. And the things you saw? I mean, come on, a patient treated like an animal, forced to peck at the floor for scraps? A totally bizarre, unsettling display. How did that not just shatter the whole illusion of civility for you? And then another one, performing as a human teapot, whistling whenever someone told them to. These surreal little horrors were happening right in front of you. And still, you just calmly filed them away in your mind as mere eccentricities of the mad. And this is the real tragic irony, isn't it? In a room filled with people who are openly, unashamedly performing their madness, it was you, the silent, sane observer, who was the biggest fool of all. Your complicity, your quiet refusal to see what was really going on, made you the most ridiculous actor in this whole bizarre play. And now, you can almost hear the floorboards start to crack. The whole facade is ripped away. That polite little banquet upstairs gives way to the horrifying truth that's been festering, just writhing right beneath your feet this entire time. This contrast, right here, it exposes the absolute horror of this so-called soothing system. Your comfort, your civilized debate, your precious sanity, all of it was built on the silent, buried suffering of other people. The real doctors, the ones who had been overthrown, were never at that table with you. So what is this celebrated system you came to admire so much? It's nothing. It's a lie. It's just a thin coat of paint slapped over a rotten, collapsing foundation. Every single brick in this asylum, every shadow in every corner, is crying out against the convenient lie you so easily swallowed. And now, the climax. The hidden truth doesn't just leak out, it erupts with unstoppable violence. And it shatters everything, your reality, your philosophy, your very sense of who you are. The sequence of events is just pure chaos. First, the tormented souls from the basement, the real doctors, rise up, these grotesque figures covered in tar and feathers. Then, your rational mind, your precious logic, it just shatters like glass. It can't process this brutal reality, and all that's left is this mocking black snow of feathers falling all around you. A pretty grim testament to your failed intellect. But here it is, the most terrifying realization of all. If you look closer, these figures rising from the darkness, they aren't inhuman beasts. They're mirrors. They are a direct reflection of the cruelty and the ignorance your civilized system created. They are what you helped make them. So let's be crystal clear about this. This wasn't some random tragedy. This was a reckoning. This was the inevitable harvest you reap when you plant seeds of willful blindness. It was the direct and deserved result of an arrogance that let you dine comfortably right above a torture chamber.
And that brings us to the bleak aftermath. So what do you do now? You make this pathetic attempt to restore order. Not by facing the truth, oh no, but by retreating into the familiar comfort of books, trying to find a way to categorize a nightmare you can no longer even begin to understand.
This journey through the dusty libraries of Europe, it's not a quest for knowledge. Not really. It's a desperate attempt to soothe a shattered ego. You're not actually seeking the truth. You're hunting for a footnote, something that will neatly explain away the horror and restore your precious sense of being smarter than everyone else.
And this right here just perfectly illustrates how pointless your search is. You're looking for answers in the neat little columns of an index, for a truth that was written in blood on a cellar floor. The answer you're looking for? It's not in a book. And so we arrive at the final diagnosis. In your desperate search for a system to explain the madness of other people, you have become the very thing you once so smugly observed. You are the patient now, lost in your own delusions, forever trying to rationalize a trauma that you helped create.
And that leaves us with this final, haunting question. Has our narrator actually lost his mind? Or is this obsessive search his last desperate attempt to slap a sane label onto a nightmare that completely defies logic? The answer, maybe, is waiting for you in the mirror.